Rob, I thought you had to go
Are you
back.
kidding me? Search a Bigfoot. Hey, Derek.
Whoa!
I was looking at the salamander.
In search of Bigfoot. That's hilarious. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
It's not every day that the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources puts on a program titled In Search of Bigfoot, or even acknowledges they exist for that matter. So, we had to check it out.
And tonight we are going to go searching for Bigfoot and a lot of other animals that might be out here at the same time that Bigfoot might be roaming. Most of the sightings that have been seen in the northwest of the United States, like Oregon, Washington, and up into Canada, right above it. There's also been many sightings down in the southeast as well. But here in Wisconsin, we've also had many sightings of a big-footed, large, hairy animal. And scientists don't know for sure exactly what this animal might be. They have, in the recent years, have truly gone more into scientific studying of them and not just believing that they are folk tales and folk legends. And there were actually 3 sightings. Not in Fond du Lac County, where we're standing at the moment, or Sheboygan, just across the way, but Washington County, this county to the south, they've had 3 different sightings. One in November of 2006, a deer carcass was nabbed from a pickup truck in the town of Erin, which is near Hartford. They heard knocks returned in the afternoon while hiking at Low Lake, which is by Monchez, kind of southwest of there. And that was in 2018. And then the latest sighting was July of 2021. A motorist sighted a Sasquatch 25 miles northwest of Milwaukee. So that would be back in that town of Erin, Low Lake area, kind of think of that. So that was in 2021, just last year. So what other animals do you think are going to be out at this time of night? We call as from dusk here into dark. What other animals might be out here as well that might be at the same time we might see a Bigfoot? Deer, yep. We call those animals crepuscular. They really like that dawn and dusk. So deer, they're active 24 hours, but they're highly active at dawn and dusk. You also might think of like birds, like owls could be out. This is great Where you see red-tailed hawks during the day, those open fields next to woods, that's where you hear great horned owls. Woods near water would be where barred owls are heard. In the spring, you might hear we know we have woodcock here that do their spring dances. And down in the marshes, you might hear snipes. What about any six-legged critters that we might hear tonight? Cicadas would be during the day when it's hot. But we might hear katydids. And right now I'm hearing those longhorn grasshoppers, the more mechanical sounds. Those aren't the crickets, they're the more... They have different eyes than we do. We are diurnal animals, animals of humans. We like to be out during the day. So our eyes are predominantly filled with cell receptors called cones that are good at picking up color. The animals of the night have given up color vision and have eyes filled with rods. The shape of the cell looks like a little rod instead of a cone. And those are really good at picking up motion in low light. So their eyes are a little different. They also can use senses of touch. A lot of them have what we call muscle memories or kinesthetic memories. So they know their trails really well. So they know where they're going. They can just do it. Think about walking through your house at night. You can usually do it pretty well, unless you're my husband who has night lights everywhere in our house. But you know where the furniture is. You know where things are. You can walk through it pretty safely, unless somebody decides to clean the house in the evening and you've been out seeing a movie and they rearrange the furniture and you come home at 11 o'clock after the movie and you stumble into the whatever they rearranged. We are going to be walking the Brown Loop. It's 1.2 miles. There are no bathrooms on the Brown Loop. The closest ones are right there with the light on. So if you need to use the facilities before we head out, we'll do that. I will be the leader, and Tom's going to be bringing up the back so we don't lose anybody as we're hiking. I'm going to ask you please not to run because there's lots of bumps and humps and things that want anybody to fall and hurt themselves. And tonight we are visitors to the animals' homes. So we're going to respect their homes. We're going to try to keep our voices low. We're not going to pick anything or damage anything. So like for you kids, I want you to think about it. If a friend came to your house, ate all your snacks, broke all your toys, and went home, would you like that very much? So we're going to respect the animals' homes by being as gentle as we can as we walk along. And one thing I'm going to also ask you, since we're going to try to sneak up on these animals, is not to use a flashlight when it starts getting dark. Our eyes will slowly adjust as it does get dark. And after a while, we can see as well as a cougar can at night. But as soon as you turn on a white light, it wrecks all the chemicals in your eyes, and it'll take another 20-some minutes for you to get your night vision back.
What a red light.
Red lights are okay. Just please keep them aimed at the ground. It doesn't wreck our night vision, and most animals can't see it.
Do you guys find any stick structures out here?
Stick structures? I haven't seen any.
Yeah.
People make.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to stop every so often. We're going to listen. And I also brought along a parabolic microphone so we can even listen a little even closer. That one you have to have a direct line of sight to the sound. But we'll see what we can do. It's not a super duper one, but it does work. The DNR would let me buy a super duper one. Well, they say a lot of times when people are out in the woods and if they are searching for Bigfoot, they'll have a sense that they've been being watched. One of the thoughts is that, well, one, people can just sense that they're being watched because they're home. Another is that they give off a pheromone that we can't really smell, but our nose picks it up and kind of can detect it subconsciously. They also say they have a pretty good stench. And the way they're describing it is like a stench, like a teenage boy that hasn't taken a shower for 3 days. You know, I think it comes from the glands, like in the armpit area. What? Like you? I haven't been next to you and you haven't taken a shower for 3 days. You did come clean. So what I want you to do is, I'm going to pass around, these are all kind of the same smell, but we can enhance our sense of smell when we're out in the outdoors if you want to smell better. Think of a dog or a deer or a cow, what's their nose like? Wet. It's wet. A lot of times you'll see a deer, if they can't quite figure out what you are, they will snort for first. And I won't snort because I don't want to get boogers all over you. But they'll snort to get all the old smell out, lick their noses, and then smell in. They can get an enhanced sense of smell. So what I want you to do is just take a smell of this first, and then do this only to yourself. You cannot wet your friends or your mother's noses. Just lick your finger and make the bottom of your nose wet. And smell again. And see when you can smell the smell better. Before or after wetting your nose. So you can take this container.
Smelling.
So at night, it's kind of great to go out at night because the air is often stiller. So the wind isn't mixing the smells around. It also is damper. So smells are more enhanced naturally. But if you think you're catching a whiff of something, you can't quite make it out, do the deer thing. And make your nose, if you have a tissue, you can snort your nose clean and then make it wet and see if you can smell it better. Which kind of defies a Bigfoot when you think about it. They have big feet and broad bodies. I was reading some things today and they said some of those males that they have spotted, they figured out they must have like a 50-inch, like almost a 4-foot across chest. That's huge. But they have figured out, and scientists are trying to still figure this out, how they can be so sneaky in the woods. I don't think so. They might tip and kill it. But they have figured out other ways to be stealth compared to like our deer that has these cool adaptations, these long skinny legs, small feet, slender bodies to help them move through. They walk on trails, one behind the other. Because if they know if the front deer is quiet, the rest can be quiet behind them. Now, Bigfoot doesn't have, the Bigfoot animals have really long hair, especially on their heads, their shoulders, along their calves, their butts. They don't have as much facial hair like a lot of animals. And they come in a whole different color ranges too, from almost black to some of them are kind of like think of a faded out black, like to a reddish kind of color. So they range in all different colors. They have really long, flowing hair. So they're pretty cryptic, they're pretty camouflaged as well. Compared to this animal, this is a skunk. So why doesn't a skunk need to blend in? Why doesn't it need to be camouflaged? So this is called a warning coloration. It doesn't care, but it's also warning you that it has its own protection. It's a pretty mellow animal. It doesn't really want to spray you. Unless you're, like a dog that gets too close or you get too close. It will give you some warning ahead of time. It'll kind of stomp its feet and show you this end of them. So if you start seeing the backside of a skunk, what are you all going to do? Run.
I have a question about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Okay, like with all these Bigfoot hunts that are, taking place all over the country and that, how come they never find Bigfoot droppings?
That's a good question.
Because, I know the size droppings that a 200-pound guy can make, you'd think a big creature like that would have, like, huge droppings, you know what I mean?
Well, then again, you don't see cat scat because they bury it.
Okay.
So maybe maybe they bury it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe they carry their own shovel.
You guys have any ideas?
No clue.
Huh?
No clue.
No clue.
Okay.
That just kind of came to my head. We don't, cats, even big cats, like cougars and bobcats and stuff, bury their scat.
Okay.
I thought it was a woodcock. They're kind of using like this parabolic microphone. All those feathers around their face gather in sound. Their ears are actually in the sound adaptation. One's usually a little higher and one's a little lower. So it helps the owl to triangulate the sound. So that's why when they're bobbing their heads around, they're actually trying to zero in on the sound. So if you start training your ear and just listening to what's in your environment, you can pick up a lot of things. If you're walking around the corner here, I had to stop the guys right behind our lights. I heard this twittering and then I heard a neat. It was a woodcock. And woodcocks they usually only sing in the spring. So it was kind of like, this is weird. But but this is the time of night that they usually sing, is right before dark. So it was a very confused woodcock. They usually sing in April into early May. We're going to do another experiment, another test. Because so many times people see things and they can't always figure it out because they're not used to being out at night. I said that Bigfoot was black to brown to reddish brown to almost blonde. They have found like some albino kind of Bigfoot too, or people have reported sighting them. I'm going to give you a piece of paper. And you can just grab it, just grab paper. Just grab one. And then I'm going to give you a crayon. And I want you to write what color crayon you think you have. Can't turn on a flashlight.
I trust my eyes at night.
It's amazing what you can see.
Yep.
Rods and cones. Something else really cool. I usually do this when I do a different hike. But most of our cones are centered in the center of our eyes and our retinas. So if you look straight ahead at a lot of things in the dark, you don't see it as well as if you can look off to the side. What colors do you see when you look around?
Black and white.
Black,
and gray.
white, grays. Mm-hmm. So we lose it. So let's see if you guessed all right.
Wow. Hey, I got it right.
I was way off.
I was right.
You were?
Green.
Anybody else want to
Mine's like gold, but it looked like it was green.
So if you're going to live at night, do you need color vision? No. But you need vision that can pick up on shades and pick up on motion. And that's what those rods are really good for. In our eyes and in a nocturnal animal's eye, they have very, very few cones and lots of those rods in their eyes. So they can pick up on all this gray in this low light. Also, they can pick up on motion. What's another thing that a lot of animals at night have that helps them to see in this low light?
Large eyes.
Large eyes, and what else?
Night vision.
They do have night vision, but they also have something called a tapetum or tapetum. Potato. It's a lens. It's like a layer of shiny cells in the back of their eyes. Have you ever been driving and you see the deer on the side of the road shining back at you? That eye shine is a second chance for the light to go over the optic nerve to enhance their night vision. A lot of times what you can do when you're out at night is you can do some animal calling, and a lot of times the animal will call back to you. You can do this with owls, coyotes, and some researchers are doing it to try to get Bigfoot to call back. So we're going to see if we can get this to work tonight. So these are different recordings of supposed Bigfoots. There we go. This one's in California. So all those kind of funky noises they think are related to Bigfoot. The other thing is, I just don't want everything else to make a noise here. They also been using them is wood knocking. So they would take like a big stick and like knock on a tree, and sometimes they get called back. So as we walked tonight, we were walking like these. We tried our fox ears. Just kind of keep a listen out and see what other kind of noises we can hear in the background.
Well, I've got a question.
Yeah,
Has
go ahead.
anybody in the group been deep in the woods by themselves with the group and dead of night woke to these types of sounds?
I have.
Have you?
Yeah, I
Very
had
cool.
two. In 1993, my father, a friend of his, and myself, well, we were camped on Carnegie Lake in Quetico. It was in September. Very, very few people in the park. We'd only seen maybe one or two parties way off in the distance. And we were sleeping in a tent. We camped on a very small, tiny island that was heavily wooded, but it was only about 20 or 30 feet from shore. And at 5:30 in the morning, just as the sun was starting to come up, someone walked through our campsite and walked right next to our tent I could feel the footfalls, I could feel the vibrations of it on the ground. We walked through our campsite for about a minute or two, and then walked right back out the same path we took in. Immediately, my dad sat up and said, "I'm going to go and see who it is." He went out, and he didn't find anyone at all on this tiny island. No one swimming away, no one in a canoe. You know, when we heard the footsteps, we were thinking, like, is this someone here to murder us? Because, like, why aren't they saying anything? There's a tent right here. Obviously, since someone's campsite, he's a distressed camper, but there was no one. And I've also heard big dogs, too.
Oh,
But that was during the day. And that was out in Kettle Moraine, actually.
Did you?
Yep, and the new thing, Ice Age Trail just south of New Thing.
I was up north, a few hundred miles north. I won't say exactly where, but I was deep in the woods by myself. And it was pouring rain. And I could hear the owls, the juvenile owls screeching as a monkey sound, right?
Yeah, the barred owls, definitely.
Barred owl, yes, thank you. We had that conversation a couple months ago. It scared the hell out of me because one, I'd never heard a juvenile barred owl screech like a monkey before, you know. And then the rain stopped, right? I mean, it was pouring out. I mean, it just dead stopped, and I could hear by my tent. You know, just this, and I still get the chills, and I slam my hand against the inside of my thing to, you know, want to get the water off or whatever, to wake up dreaming or whatever. And after that, I heard right outside on a pine tree where I had my tent. It was like that. Somebody took a baseball bat and just slammed it, you know. And at that point, I was wide awake. There was nothing that let me go back to sleep, you know. Me, my flashlight, and my 45 the rest of the night, you know. But I saw no prints, you know. I was heavy in the woods, so, you know, the needles and everything, I just didn't see any impressions. But to this day, I'll never forget that one night out there. It's like, what the hell? I mean, everything stopped, right? It was dead silence.
Well, in a lot of the Native American tribes from the Northwest and even here in the Midwest, they often have a story of, it doesn't translate as Bigfoot, but like big person, big man, big brother. There's a lot of legends about it, and they feel it might be an interdimensional person that's going between two dimensions, and also that it could be a messenger to the human population to, like, get your act together, that we might be doing something wrong, like bringing us warnings. That's part of their tradition as well. And it's a similar tradition across the continent. You know, all variations, but similar kinds of traditions with it. And they were talking about out east, going along with the big brother kind of character, is the little people legend. That kind of go hand in hand with some of the big brother legends. So it's kind of fascinating. I didn't get real deep into those kinds of things. They were just commenting that it's kind of across the board, that a lot of the indigenous tribes had those kinds of legends and oral traditions that have been passed down as well. So it's kind of cool. So it's not just a real recent phenomenon. Like I said, when we started, science is starting to finally not poo-poo it as, you know, people just seeing things, that they're really starting to study it and research it and not just say it's people telling stories. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Hope you have fun and go exploring in the night again.
There have been several reports out of both the southern and the northern units of the Kettle Moraine. The northern unit covers 30,000 square acres and has 350 campsites, one of which is where our next witness had her encounter.
So I do a lot of backpacking.
Okay.
And this was in the northern Kettle Moraine State Forest. I don't remember which campsite it was. But we were there for a large camp event. And I was awoken in the middle of the night at my campsite, which was closer to the woods, by this insane sound. And I had never heard it before in my entire life. And we're looking, gosh, this is recent. This is 2 years ago. Maybe, so spring of 21.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so a year and a half ago. And so I heard this sound, and it was just so intense. And I just also thought, this is the prettiest sound I've ever heard in my life in the woods. I really just was kind of enamored with it. I could not get back to sleep. I didn't know if anyone else heard it. No one had mentioned anything about it. And I thought about that sound for a really long time because honestly, I never got into the Bigfoot thing after what happened. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to talk about it. I just don't. It's almost like I didn't want to make it worse. So one day I haul my animals to Southern Illinois quite a bit with a trailer. And I decided I was going to listen to a Bigfoot podcast. That was just what I was going to do. And on the intro to this podcast, there was the sound I had heard. And I then went home and I looked it up. And it was like the whooping or the call or whatever. And 100% spot on every recording I looked at was what I heard.
Today, myself and Derek are in the middle of Wisconsin at the Kettle Moraine Northern Unit. We are at Greenbush, and we are meeting up with Robert and his girlfriend, Jenny. Have you found stuff in here before?
I found possible structures. That's just about it.
No footprints?
Well, let's go that way. Wherever you found stuff before, we'll take a look at that.
You see any footprints?
No footprints.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
What do you think?
That's a nice one.
What do I think? I think...
I think it's handmade.
You know more about stuff than I do.
What confidence, Rob?
I think that this was probably done by a person.
Think so?
Because my guess is probably this one fell across the road and they wanted to get rid of it and
Okay.
it couldn't break off, so they shoved it back and pinned it behind there to keep it from coming back across the trail.
Okay.
So to figure that out though, you look at the base of it over here and see if it's still attached to anything. No, it's completely snapped off.
So how could it fall across the road if it snapped off?
Well, it would snap off and fall across the road. And then to get it off the road, he'd push it back. Or it just fell that way to begin with. So if that one fell straight,
What about the back one though? See?
yeah, it's kind of intertwined around that other one too.
Like something snapped it, pushed it down, and then put it in between the...
I can't say that a person didn't do that because if, like I said, if it fell across the road, you want to get it out of the way.
Right.
Why you wouldn't leave it at ground level though would be if it wasn't completely snapped off.
Okay.
And you couldn't just lay it down if it had spring left to it.
Right.
But it's snapped off. Now that could have been snapped off prior to it falling over.
Have you ever talked to any like park rangers who actually like...
Not here, no.
No? What I'm saying, like anywhere, like they...
Not that I can really think of.
Okay.
No, we don't do a lot of public property because, like I said, it's so hard to tell. Like what I would consider more a structure, like this could very well be something Bigfoot made or something, but it's so close to the trail that I'm not even going to worry about it because a person could very easily do it.
Right, but...
Now, if you saw this way back in there, why is a person going back in there?
Right.
You know?
I know what you mean.
Then you would walk in and investigate and see.
Well, I just thought I pointed out because I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But at night, where there's nobody around you, they could, you know, maybe it's letting other Squatches know this is human territory.
Definitely. No, I totally agree that this could be done by Bigfoot or some other cryptid creature.
Right.
The reason being is because it is intertwined. It didn't fall this way, I don't believe, at all. I don't believe it fell that way.
Okay.
But I don't know if a person did this or if a Bigfoot did this.
Okay.
Because it is so close to the trail, I tend to rule stuff like that out.
Right.
Unless you have a lot of other evidence that coincides with it, which you do in the area.
Right.
But in order for me to say this is 100% Bigfoot or something, I can't do that.
So, but would you say it's either Bigfoot or a person?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely say something put it there.
What is
it didn't fall
What
that
is your
way.
best guess? Like,
based on where it is, I would say it was a person.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I feel like it would have like crossed the path, get it out of the way, pushed it. Okay, now look at this. This is all man-made. Okay?
Yep.
So when you're looking at stuff like that's right off the trail like this,
It's man-made.
this tree fell over. It was cut down by a chainsaw moving it in. All of this wood right here is the same style, color, texture. This is all the same tree. So all this would have been the same thing.
Okay.
So anything here was man-made.
You think it was park rangers?
Well, I assume, yeah.
Okay.
It's not like somebody just came out here with a chainsaw and started hacking at it.
Yeah.
But that back there is kind of interesting. I don't know what that is. It could be natural fall without getting right up on it and looking at it, which I don't have a problem looking at. But
Bigfoot are known to make structures like that, though.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, when I come out here or other places, I see a lot of arches.
Mm-hmm. Like this one.
Yep. Like especially the ones that are bent and then they're tucked underneath the another.
It's interesting though because that does happen naturally.
I thought I heard a twig snap.
Sound like a yip.
But the thing is, it's weird how that they're bent, but yet they're tucked underneath another log or something.
Well, that could happen if a tree falls from up above.
Okay.
And it catches the top of a tree like as it comes down and pinches it.
Right.
So I mean, it's stick structures and like I love them things. Like I am all about the stick structures and looking for them and stuff. But for me, it is so hard to determine like if it's
Person.
Yeah, natural person or Bigfoot. And for me, it just comes down to I need to say that something is Bigfoot. I would have to see very, very clear, not near a trail, very intertwined and deliberate thought process.
Okay.
You know, like something that could happen naturally, I'm going to rule out.
Right.
But when you have stuff that's like intertwined, you know, kind of like that one,
Yep.
that it can't fall, like it can fall and push things down, but it can't spring up and twine like that.
Okay.
You know, so that's where I'm at with that. I mean, I don't know. That one looks like it kind of fell back there. And it all lined up, but without telling if that's all stuff put in there or what it is.
What do you think, Derek?
I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell once in a while, I think.
It doesn't look natural, that's for sure.
I kind of lean that way towards what you're saying doesn't look natural, because there's this pile too, which looks kind of interesting.
I see what he's saying though.
I don't know if you saw that one. Walked by that without even seeing that. That does not look normal either.
No.
Because sometimes Bigfoot like to.
Yeah, I haven't been out here. Well,
Have you ever seen?
I was out here in the wintertime with a friend of mine, but it was the trails were all icy and.
Well, sometimes if you look carefully, you can find a footprint or two.
Yeah.
You see how this wood is all the same. This is not. This is fresh. Do I think, you know, Bigfoot did? No, I think probably somebody stepped on that or something. But this is something new. This is how you track.
Okay.
Because you're looking for things like that, or like places where moss is worn off a rock, or a rock that doesn't have moss, or dirt side up on a rock.
Right.
Things like that that are just out of place.
Okay.
So when you're tracking, you're looking for evidence of something in the area. That's the stuff that you're looking for.
Okay.
Very uninteresting things like that, you know.
Okay.
But that's the kind of stuff that you got to look out and keep an eye out for.
Okay.
You know, it just shows that something was in here.
Right.
Now again, we're right on a trail.
Well.
So I stopped here because I want to see if you're as observant as I was. Okay. There's something here that's off. Nope.
That looks weird though.
It does. So remember I told you to look for things that are out of place.
Right. That rock.
Why?
It's just like jammed in there.
Why is there a rock on top of a deadfall?
Why would a person do that?
Kids kicked it off the trail, might have come loose or something.
I doubt it though.
I don't know.
I mean, it could be, but
I don't know what did it. I'm not saying anything like weird, but I'm
Right.
saying that's what you need to look for.
right.
Yeah, that is
Because
weird.
something, person, Bigfoot, anything, put that there.
Okay.
Now some people believe that Bigfoot uses that like to dig for grubs or something in
Yep.
the dead logs and stuff. So that's a very good. But like Turtle Man actually found one of those with us. And that's why, like, you know, he pointed out and said, you know, this shouldn't be there.
Right.
It's been there quite a while, though. Like, this isn't something that was recent, because of all the debris and stuff that's grown up here, the spider nests and stuff, so this isn't something that, you know, we'd need to...
But someone or something did put it there, though.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It didn't just fall there. But again, it could have been a loose rock on the trail, and...
Someone kicked in.
Yeah, just put it over there so nobody tripped on it or something.
Landed right there.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see it. Yep.
Holy...
You see that, Derek?
Yes, I do.
It looks like a tree that fell over, but I'm not sure.
Doesn't...
It looks
no,
like a teepee. Looks like a teepee structure.
It looks like a TV structure. There's so many sticks intertwined with one another. Come all this way out here to do that.
It's not natural, that's for sure.
No, I don't think it's natural.
I don't think it's Boy Scout. A lot of people think when it comes to stuff like this, it's probably Boy Scouts.
I don't think so, especially all the way right out here.
Does this look like if a person would build this if they were going to sleep there? Right?
Right.
There's no other reason why a human would make this.
Right.
So, what is all this then? That's a little lean-to structure to sleep in, okay. But did this fall over, cave in?
And if it was a homeless person, how would you don't have the crap there?
Do you shit where you sleep?
I'm talking...
Oh,
like
okay, I see what you're saying.
Like a sleeping bag or something, you know?
Okay. Well, obviously they're not living there now. So do we see any sign of human junk anywhere around?
I don't.
Nope.
But
But the thing is,
on that side.
if a person, let's say Boy Scouts, right?
Yep.
If they were to make something like that, wouldn't they make the top part more where you can't see the inside? You know what I'm talking about?
Solider?
Yeah, like cover your salt so if it rains or anything, you don't have.
For the most part, but then you could put tarps around it. For now, let's stay way out around the edge of it, go out around that big tree.
Well, if a homeless person had done that, wouldn't they put a tarp up over it?
Now, if they don't have a tarp, but yeah, that would be my thought.
I saw that right there. It looks like something rubbed against it. You see that? Like some of the bark's missing on there. And some of the bark's missing on that one too.
Yep. You see also the big bow?
Mm-hmm. You would think that if a person did it, they would add more sticks or whatever on top for more of a shelter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this looks like a teepee. This is just thrown there. Like, why? Also, if you're homeless, wouldn't you have a fire?
Yeah, but I don't see no burnt stuff.
Stay warm.
I don't see any burnt debris anywhere. But I don't see no remnants of a homeless person being here.
Yeah.
I don't either. I don't think whatever it is was used or done recently. I'm not seeing any sign of, you know, something coming through here. You know, like, I mean, if you look back where we came, you can see where we walked.
Right.
Also, you look at here, these are broken, which means this has been here a while, and they just decayed and busted.
Okay.
So I'm thinking this is fairly old.
Right there, too.
I can't wait to see this on Wisconsin Caps and no one else here.
Look at that, though. There's a bark that's been, like, rubbed off or something.
I'm sorry, Barbie, but I gotta bring that up. Next time I watch the next Wisconsin Caps, I'm like, oh, hey, I was with those guys.
So far, it is...
I don't know.
I have his mind speak book, too.
Like a footprint, but like... Oh.
Yep.
I can't... It's hard to discern what it is.
Scuffing. Yeah, I'm not seeing any
Doesn't look like it came
recent
from the same
stuff.
tree, though.
Oh, no, definitely not. It was gathered. I mean, look at the ground around here. There's nothing.
But let's just say this was a Sasquatch. What would you... what would be the intent?
Look, behind you.
Nobody around for a mile for...
No, look. You see it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hmm. What am I missing?
I mean, you have all this area. It's on the high ridge. You can camouflage yourself. You could hide here. See if anything comes up on you.
Not a lot of people come out here, especially at night.
Good for hunting. Ambush spot. This reminds me of the one at Hayden that's way in the back.
Mm-hmm. That's what I just said.
Yeah. It's got the log that we sat on, and then where me and Rachel were.
You seen structures like this up at Hayden?
Not as big. But similar. This is probably, if this isn't man-made, this is probably the biggest thing I've found since the teepee.
But the one up by mountain was pretty big. The one you...
Yeah, but not as intricate. There's a lot.
But what was cool about that?
It's like an alarm.
What's that noise?
Sounds like a tuning sound. You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Plane, maybe?
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe airplane.
There is no
Right,
road
that's
near
how
us.
Come and go quick.
Look at this.
What?
It's kind of indentured here.
Something stepped right there.
Maybe?
Maybe the Sasquatch stepped right there. Big footprint.
Maybe. Don't know. Again, looking up and down here.
Oh. You jump your asshole.
What was that?
Chunk of stuff just fell there.
I thought something was thrown at us.
No.
I was gonna say, was that a rock?
Nope. It came right here. This fell.
Okay.
And it just went.
Is that another like hole in the ground?
Huh?
What? Really?
No, what did you ask me?
That looks like a bowl-shaped hole.
I'm just looking for hair.
See any hair, Barnaby?
Nope. You would think with all of this there'd be something.
I think if we did a night hike, we'd probably hear more sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at this rate, we are doing a night hike because we're not going to be out of here before dark.
She's looking like, oh, shit.
It's 7 o'clock.
I already warned her.
It's 7 o'clock now, and it's going to get dark in 2 hours.
You're never gonna hear him say Bigfoot.
Yep.
Or
Till I see Bigfoot do it. Till I find Bigfoot hair on it. I would say
50-50 Bigfoot?
yeah.
You didn't find any hair on the stick structures at Hayden either.
I did not, no.
But you
that
called them
doesn't...
Bigfoot made. It's true.
Well, let's see if we can find anything else in the area to give us more sign. And
at least we know somebody or something made it.
yeah. When you can rule out everything else, what you're left with is what you got. No sign of human habitation there.
This is one of their, supposedly one of their highways.
This is
What?
Yeah, I heard that.
Was it like a coyote howl or?
I don't know what that was.
That was, yeah, that
What
was
does
weird.
what does it sound like?
Like, kinda.
Yeah, kind of something like that. It was
It's
like a
just
warning.
Interesting how these go right through the marsh, right to the marsh.
Uh-huh. I tell you, if you were going to do a night stakeout, this would be where to do it.
Like do like a Bigfoot call?
You could thermal drone, thermal camera around the whole edge of the marsh. Nice clear shot of anything that came in there. You got clear view on both sides, nice corridor.
What about doing a Bigfoot howl? Would that be sufficient too?
You want me to howl?
Sure.
I thought I heard scuffling behind me.
We're going to get some reaction.
Beware, he can be loud. That's a hell of a neck off.
No coyotes, no nothing.
That's kind of awkward.
That thing on the hill just moved.
Really?
Yeah, it stepped out farther.
I can't even see it. Is it in the upper half or lower half?
Very top. Just below that last power line that you can't see. Dark figure. I swore it moved. I can't fucking see it though.
I heard that. That sounded like a.
That sounds like an owl. But
I heard that.
It does sound like an owl, but it didn't sound like an owl.
owl. That's a barred owl.
Yep.
Alright. It's going to be severely dark when we enter this canopy though. Yep.
Oh, fun.
That's not far. I give him 20 minutes.
Whatever, 20 minutes my ass. I walked this far, damn it. Like I said, when I watched the last episode, she was one like, hey, give me shoot.
Does that help anybody? Because it just looks foggy to me.
Two-way?
No, I mean just the light.
Oh.
You are here. Ooh, this one's got a you are here.
Where do you see that? You have to find the star though.
It's almost being thrown at us.
Like a rock.
Or, I don't know. That's not what it was. Only being thrown at us. Something falling from trees.
Yeah, I just heard that. So, what the hell was that?
There's movement back there. Or something back there.
So we're heading to the right parking lot?
I think so. I remember that sign, and I haven't seen another one, so I'm assuming that's the same one we passed.
This looks like the trail.
Yeah, this looks like how we came in.
Barnaby,
You can see the, dude, you can see
What's
the bush
that?
where you land.
Aside from a couple times in there, I really didn't feel like, ooh.
Oh, same like right now. Do you feel relieved that we're back in the parking lot?
I'm surprised that it took this quick. I thought it was going to be quite a bit further. So,
Like I said, man.
You're optimistic.
yeah, it was a pretty good day today.
Yeah, it was. All
Alright.
right, Barnaby. Let's talk
Sounds
to you tomorrow,
good.
man.
Nice seeing you.
I'll send that
Me
picture.
too.
Yep, sounds good.
Derek, if I'll
See
see
you
you
there.
tomorrow, good meeting you, man.
Good night, mate. Yeah.
For our first official trek into the northern unit of the Kettle Moraine, we came out with a few interesting pieces of evidence. Who or what made the structure that we found will remain a mystery, but with as many reports of Bigfoot and even Dogman in the area, you can bet it won't be our last trip into these woods.